Welcome everyone. Quickly going to check if everything's working. Hi Gulchan, welcome. Ian, welcome. Good evening. Hopefully everything is working. Since I didn't do a pre-check, I just went live. I don't know if that was very wise of me, but it says the connection is excellent. I'm going to believe them on that, and I think it's going to stay that way for now. Hopefully. Good day, Rick. Toast, welcome. As you can see, since it is around the holidays, I've chosen for a glittery background here. I didn't put my Christmas hat on. I was in doubt, but I don't think it quite suits me, to be honest. Now the days are only getting longer until June. Yes, they are. I don't know if they would feel like that, since here the actual winter still needs to kind of, most times it's just February-ish. Now YouTube doesn't say it has an excellent connection anymore. Why is it like this? Hope everyone is okay. I actually wanted to make a drink still, and well, I actually didn't do some cleaning. There's still a lot at the sink that I need to wash before I can actually swatch or I've cleaned my tools before, so that's good. Remember to put my spectrometer to a charger. These things are kind of like in my system, but since last Wednesday, I skipped last Wednesday, had a long day with the kids, and I was maybe more tired than they were. They were asleep a little bit sooner than I was, but it was a very exhausting day, so I skipped it. Family first. And I know you are part of the Pigment family here, but it's not much of a stream when it's not the lagging that makes me slow, but actual, tiredness that does that. I don't want to be real life lagging on camera. This is correct. This is correct. I just put a goal in my super chat, since it was a huge banner on my YouTube, like put a goal in. Okay, I'll do it. Rick, short version, have I ever used lichens as a dye or made a lake from said dye? I haven't, and to be honest, I haven't made a lake ever myself. I've seen loads of people do it, and a few weeks ago that I made some pigment out of the yellow ochre and washed it. It was actually the first time washing any other pigment than ultramarine lapis lazuli. So that navigating process and that washing process of earths was the first step. Making a dye is the making a dye in a lake. I need to make pigment is going to be my next step. So hopefully 25 will be the year for making a lake pigment. To be honest, looking at everything that Mark did with the mango leaf yellow, I think I've learned a lot from him. Seeing the entire process and all the things that can go wrong, or all the things that go right, or the things you should do or actually work better, or things you absolutely shouldn't do. Talking about it, but mostly him sharing his process has taught me an amazing deal. But doing something yourself is always a little bit different. So yeah, that's on my list. Oh, thank you, Gulshan. Money-wise, it's a bit weird when you say, you wanted to make a payment, but it didn't work. That's the thought that counts, because that really does. So I really appreciate that. So my kind of the sarcastic, mean version inside of me would say the thought that counts, but I can't buy a 3-roll meal with thoughts only. But no, I really appreciate it, and it's okay. And I know these things really can be tricky. I've had some weird stuff going on with one of my members here on YouTube. That one time, that person wasn't a member, but they didn't. She didn't. I want to stay neutral here. They didn't want to. They didn't do anything with it, so it was kind of just something was rejected, but not on their part. I don't know what happened. Oh, that sucks. That's just what I've had. I'm working with the Apple ecosystem, but I've had that same thing with Apple Pay. My debit cards are I use them all the time with Apple Pay, but paying with Apple Pay just in any shop works. Paying with Apple Pay online only works with certain shops that are connected to that bank. So everything works from my side, only the contracts are the thing that stops it. So then you still need to use Ideal with the security code and everything, and it's so frustrating. I don't know why some things just aren't easier than that. Sylvie, welcome. Good to see you. Rick, it is regardless of light fastness. That's kind of the thing that stopped me before. Same that stopped me from buying some pigments, which I actually really regret right now. Luckily, I forgot which pigments they are. Mostly reds and yellows. Those are the ones that I missed most of in my collection when it comes down to the pigment numbers only. When I need to make it like a checklist, which pigment number do I have? PR1 to PR, 300, almost 300 by the way, and everything in between. 298 is the last one that I have. I have so many pigments that I never bought. Had the chance, I've seen them. Some of them got discontinued, others didn't. Some of them were too similar than as ones that I already had. Something in me now says like I should have bought them just because of that checklist thought in my head. Because exactly, loads of them fade, aren't light fast, but that completism, that idea of making something complete, making something whole, filling that void inside of me of empty checkboxes, it's bothering me sometimes, which is kind of unhealthy. So I wouldn't recommend this to anyone. So my vision at the start was I only collect things that are light, fast, and single pigments. No, and if I want to make a pigment museum, it won't be a public one. It will just be my private pigment museum. But you know, it's same with the lake pigments. I've had so many things like cochineal, beautiful cochineal pigments, carmine. Thank you so much, Toast. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you too. Mark, welcome. Hey, we didn't get a animation right, did we? There's always something that doesn't go right. And here I'm going to like it. There, like it, and I'm giving it a heart there because I can't do it here. Thank you so much, Toast. And I love your username and the avatar that goes with it. Yeah, about, again, thank you so much. I'm always getting kind of a bit well, distracted isn't the right word, because it's the amount of appreciation is just moving all my thoughts out of my head, and that's a good feeling actually. Just an empty head, just thankfulness. The fading pigments are a thing that kind of stop me from collecting them, and for some of them, I really regret not buying them sooner. Seeing them now feels like an investment not worth it. Since I'm at the point of having a lot of pigments, I wanted to say too many, but a lot of pigments and a temporary disability with my arm. Just going to call it that. So I really need to take it easy. Last weekend, it is still weekend. It was yesterday, wasn't it? I think it was yesterday morning. Yeah, yesterday. I think I was playing Mario Kart with my kids, and I don't know. I was kind of leaning towards or on that arm. With kind of my weight towards that arm, and it hurt a lot after like 10 minutes, which made me realize I really need to take it easy still. Maybe keep doing that for the unforeseen future now. So financially, I really need to make like decisions. Is something worth it buying? Is something worth it investing? And like making a thicker pigment, just buying powdered gum arabic is kind of a no-brainer for me. It's gum arabic, so I'm going to use it anyway, only in a different form. Buying the original binder that Yves Klein used in his paint doesn't have the highest priority, although I purchased it, and I got that yesterday, as well as the original pigment that Yves Klein used. Anyway, non-stable, not non-light fast pigments aren't on my list of things that that I need to prioritize. So that's yeah, this is just me rambling, talking, I don't know what the word is, about choices, actually. Decisions and choices. So yeah. And that all because of Rick asking if I ever made a lake pigment. About the because you know, it's a pigment channel, it's a paint channel, pigment channel. Original binder that Yves Klein used, and the pigment. And it sounds very exciting. But it is this really the wrong side up? It is, right, isn't it? Yeah. It is actually, let me fix this. There we go. This ultramarine blue. It's a good version of ultramarine blue. PB29, yes, Gulchen, indeed. But PB29 nonetheless. It is just a very blue, and this is actually a little bit too light. The color was captured better by the other camera, but the texture of the pigment is in this one. So this is the version that he used with the binder that he used, and I've never made it before. I literally got that yesterday, end of the day. It is a punchy blue. It really is, but I don't know if it is more punchy than other ultramarines that I have. Obviously, I have the means to actually check it if this is more punchy than others. But for that, I need to make a tiny bit of watercolor with this pigment and try it out with another version of ultramarine blue, or just my regular version of ultramarine blue. In the DM group on Instagram, for those of you who are not part of it and want to be part of it, if you don't follow me on Instagram, send me a follow request. If your username is different than here, just send me a DM request asking if I can accept you. There's just too many bots, too many fake accounts trying to follow me, so I'm on a private Instagram. All days welcome, but there's like a little pigment family DM group as kind of group chat. So if you want to join that, just send me a DM on Instagram, follow me, and I'll add you to it. His anthropomorphies is how do you pronounce that in English? Anthropomorphies, I think it is. Yes, those were his printed bodies, his body stamps and performance works with the blue. Just his blue squares with the sponges and without the sponges are his monochromes in blue, because he already also had a pink monochrome, he had a golden monochrome, he had different monochromes, different pigments he used with this binder. And I think, actually, I showed a picture of a work I saw a few weeks ago in Eindhoven. But let me see how smart my phone is. Yves Klein. If I just type in Yves Klein in my picture app, does he know which? No. Blue. Well, he finds the color blue, that's for sure. I'm just going to search on location. Because a few years ago I've been to this Stedelijk as well, and there's a monochrome, two monochromes actually. And I've been there with my girls, and I'm so proud of them, seeing them here with the painting and being impressed as well. But this, I know it's a screen to a camera to a screen, which is terrible. But that is at the Stedelijk in Amsterdam. And that's the first time now I saw a small... in 1990 there was a exhibition of Klein's work in Rotterdam, I think. And they sold blue sponges in Yves Klein Blue, or International Klein Blue, with a certificate and a nice acrylic box. And I've had the chance to buy one of these. I think it's a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, but around a year ago I saw that on Marketplace, and I really wanted to have it, but it's like it was a box. I think it was 9 centimeters. A square box with a certificate and a little booklet about the exhibition, and the sponge on a little stand. I think it was 1,200 euros. That was the asking price, and the person wanted to part of it for 1,000. Kind of agreed. Like I said, 1,200 is way too much. I'm collecting things, pigments, and seeing something that original was amazing, and 1,200 euros isn't even a lot for it, looking back at it. But that was too much for me back then. It's too much for me now, way too much. I don't have that money. But sometimes I do regret it. So I've seen it, and it was amazing. But you know, it was like a souvenir, and it's a very expensive souvenir for something that was... I wasn't even at the exhibition. No, I think it was like 3 years old when that exhibition was, so that wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, it's a beautiful blue. But now I have the original binder. I have the blue, and I do have some natural sponges, so I can just make it myself. I'm not going to sell it because you know, I don't want any trouble. But you know, I've seen the real thing with the sponges, so it would be nice to have kind of a comparison. Speaking of, and why am I like focused on that? I'm so sorry for your experience, Rick. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I really don't have any influence on what kind of ads there are. It's based on your cookies, so... or at least, as far as I know. Yeah, I can make my own gulchen. So last week, and here the kind of a little bit of a rant starts. Last week I saw a new video with a certain artist that has a certain paint brand that we've discussed before here. And it was so painful to watch. It was so painful. There were so many things in that video that just weren't right in any way. They were just like, it felt... Yeah, that's the one. Thanks, Gulchen. Yeah, it was, yeah, okay, it was Stuart Sample, and it was the Culture Hustle Easy Klein International Klein Blue copy. Everything about that video hurt, and I was actually, when I was looking at that, I actually thought, okay, I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to put the video on the screen. I'm just going to comment like we did with the Culture Hustle Origin palette. But the video is done by the Washington, what was it? Washington Post, right? Wall Street Journal. That was the one. The Wall Street Journal. And Sylvius, I'm going to check for you. I'm going to pause the ads. I can only do it for 10 minutes, but it's not normal since my settings say the ads are on minimum mode. So I've thought about this for everyone. And these are my like standard settings now for streaming. Yeah. Yeah. So I can change it on my side. Sorry for that experience, by the way. So there were loads of elements in that video that were actually very painful for me to see as a paint maker, as someone who has loads of versions of ultramarine blue in my possession, as a pigment, for someone who has the tools and knowledge of making paint and milling paint and getting the most pigment into a paint. Don't worry about that, Sylvie. Thank you so much. But I've posted them, so I will just keep doing this. For me, it is like the connection with you is more important to me than the ad revenue from that. Really thankful, but yeah, I'd rather just have a conversation where you can react on what I say instead of you looking at ads that don't have anything to do with pigment. And a couple of things I saw in that video that that bothered me the most was in that video he said we were. I actually need to. I actually wanna watch it, but I don't have my headphones here, and I don't wanna watch it when. Oh my God! Thank you so much, Sebastian. Thank you so much. Can I like it? Welcome to the chat. What a way to enter. Thank you so much. I really need to do something about my animations as well, because I'm missing the animations. It is, that I was turned like this. Let me quickly have a look what kind. If I can check out the video without having to actually. I don't think I can. Well, one of the things that he said, we're using professional tools and blah, 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 blah. It's also the way that how he talks about it. It's not passionate. It's too much marketing. It's too much certain words and certain things about it. It feels off. He says we're using a spectrometer, and he's showing not this, but he's showing a NYX tool without. This was painted over, but this shape of the NYX Spectra 2. I'm not sponsored by it, but it's an awesome device. This shape, the NYX Mini 3 and 2, it has the exact same shape, is only this size. And that's a colorimeter. And what that does is it shows you a color with the color values and digital numbers, so you can replicate that color in Photoshop and everything, imprints. All digital values, you get that. This gives you a spectral reflectance curve. This gives you which wavelengths are reflected and absorbed. This version, Stuart, not the cheap colorimeter version, which is great, no offense, NYX, but it doesn't give you, it's not a spectrometer. It literally in that video, he said, we're using a spectrum. I don't know, he sounds weird, but he's using, now it's getting personal. He's using a spectrometer to get the most accurate version, almost, blah, blah, blah. No, just no. It's not, it's not a spectrometer. So get your kind of, or you have ginormous hands. If that thing was the same size, like, as that small thing, but I don't think he has. I don't know why. I think that, but I don't think so. So that's one thing. The other thing is showing him in an empty space, an enormous empty space, with the floor filled with swatches of ultramarine blue paint, which doesn't say anything. It just doesn't show anything. It doesn't show the process, as if someone has a completely empty space and sits in front of 30 swatched out blue swipes of paint. Hi Andrea. I don't know why. That it's all about the picture. It's all about, how the outside world perceives his work. I don't know. He also says he isn't making any money out of it. A small tube of that blue, which is basically just a very matte acrylic medium mixed with ultramarine blue pigment, and hopefully there aren't any fillers in it, but there's no promise here. It's 31 euros for like a bottle this big. 31 euros. How is he not making money out of that? Something is going wrong there. Like, I don't know, even if you have 20 people working for you, 31 euros, and being sold out every time that he brings something new on the market. He had a new paint with a collaboration with an artist, not even sure who it was. A round bottle of red paint, 115 euros, I think, a bottle of red paint. Thing is, there's no pigment numbers. There's no mention of any pigment number. And ever, like in none of his paints. I've asked it, and the only reaction I got was, we're going to discuss it. Or which exact paint do you want to know that from? I'll say all your paints in general. Like, you bring a new red to the market. What kind of red? I want to know, is it a kind of warm leaning red? Is it cool leaning red? How does it mix? I know that if I know pigment numbers, I know what I can expect. And sure, there are different versions, but I kind of know what I can expect. Yeah. Sorry, Toast. Yeah, this is, just keep it this way. Enjoy this and don't look into him. Yeah, it's no, to have a look. I don't know. It's so much not right in that video, and the worst part about that, he says like, luckily he's a successful artist, or otherwise he, you know, if this was his living, he wouldn't, you know, he couldn't live off his paints. Yeah, I'm going to pause the ads again, guys. Those were 10 minutes of me ranting already. It's a kind of a good timer, by the way. Yeah, Sebastian, it is the same guy, and yeah, thanks, Jad. So I was like, I almost reordered the Yves Klein paint after I saw that video and couldn't find it. And I've been looking for 2 days, not like 2 days straight, but 2 days. I've been looking everywhere, and I'm thinking, okay, where could it be? Maybe in that cupboard, maybe in my previous studio. I know where it was, and it's been standing there for 3 years. And I think just because of the personal part of the Yves Klein story, I think I threw it out. I'm actually quite soon. I've found everything. I've stored everything on the attic that I'm not using anymore, and basically I put everything else just in my studio here. So yeah, sorry, I'm going back to the, no, Toast, oh, like, that's the one, sorry. It's basically for everyone who wants to play with color and who wants to, it's just so much BS. I love rants, I love integrity. Oh, that's so hard to choose from right now. Andrea, yeah, it's like not only, I don't like my voice, but in those videos, especially how he talks about not the paint, you know, fine that you make lovely colors. It's not okay if you just misinform people about things. And seeing that video, and this is why, Mark, like, you know that from me, with everything else, I'm trying to, like, integrity is a big part, but I'm trying to avoid names and avoid brands and just, you know, speak about things how I experience them. I'm missing the scotch. That's what I needed. Thank you, Sebastian. But with this, that's what I said. It's a personal part with the Yves Klein. It's not that I know. Okay, I'm going to look at that, Mark. It's not that I've known Yves Klein. He died at 34 in the 1960s. But he was my grandmother's nephew. Yeah, am I saying that right? Yeah. So my parents actually knew his father. who was a Dutch artist. He moved to France, and that's where he met his wife, and Yves Klein was born. And how things work with. Never mind. Anyway, so Yves Klein is basically like a French guy, but going back, actually only one generation. There's Dutch roots there. And no, not you, Siri. Just don't. What am I discussing? That's a good point. No, it's a new video that that guy from Culture Hustle. It's not a video from them. It's from the Wall Street Journal, and they did a video on Klein, and I think they kind of missed the point. Art historians and Klein Blue experts, but the way they talk about it really feels out of context for me, and the way that Stuart Sample went with the paint was, you had the T-Mobile magenta. T-Mobile has a certain version of magenta, and you can't use that as a business, as a brand, in certain cases. We're allowed to paint with it. We're allowed to mix it. But as a brand, same like with the arches of McDonald's, it's a certain shape. The Nike swoosh logo, it's part of the brand. And having color as part of your brand is kind of a little bit difficult, and it feels kind of a bit off. But if I want to start a telecom business and I'm going to use the exact same color as T-Mobile, that is going to cause issues, since it is so much connected to that brand. Same as the Tiffany blue, which is just basically PG50 teal cobalt with white to it, and then you have it. But he went on an entire mission to liberate colors and give them back to the people. So he made copies of the colors and sold them for way too much money. One of them, like you had T-Mobile and the Tiffany, he even did Heinz a few weeks or months ago, which is weird because the reason that Heinz uses the red on their label is so that their bottles can't be filled with cheap ketchup. So there's a red line around the label of the ketchup, so you know that if the red line around the label is the same color as the ketchup, there's actually real Heinz ketchup in it. If there's another color in it, it's knockoff ketchup in a Heinz bottle. And a lot of diners in America, they fill used Heinz bottles with cheap off-brand ketchup to save some money. So that's why they put that red line around to know, okay, so you know what you're dealing with, you have the real stuff. Yves Klein he patented not the color, but the way how it was applied and used. Yes, I have the binder here, and I have the pigment here, and I can replicate it. So I'm not sure why they're selling this, if there's still a patent, but it was a vision of how you experience a color as a feeling, as an emotion. As the blue was not something that was copyrighted, that was not patented, that was not the blue. It was PB29. Yves Klein wanted to actually use Prussian blue. Am I right? Yeah, Prussian blue. But Edouard Adam, the chemist he was working with, he said, no, ultramarine blue works better for this. And it was, I think in the before the 60s, he also made monochrome pigments. And if you don't know what the monochromes are, look up Yves Klein monochromes. But without this as a binder. And what binders do, they encapsulate pigment particles, and that makes them lose their chroma, their brightness, their vividness, their punch. And I will talk about the Fanta Black, by the way. That's another one which is completely bonkers how Stuart Sample went with that. But Adam suggested PB29, which was an existing pigment, and it's just available everywhere. And it is not that was patented. It was the method and his vision of how do I, what I envision in my head, how do I get that on the canvas technically, right? If you just put pure pigment on it, it will fall off. So he needed something technical, which was a new binder, to get that done. That was it. That is just basically his monochromes and anthropomorphies in color, is art. He doesn't own the color. There was no color to liberate. That's it. Fanta Black, which was kind of Anish Kapoor has the only rights to use Fanta Black as an artist. Anish Kapoor is an artist with means to make certain kind of art that an average artist just cannot execute financially and technically. He has the space, he has the means, he has the people for it. And Fanta Black is dangerous to work with. A special method is needed to actually coat it. It is not a paint that just comes out of a bottle. It's Fanta Black used to be, it's not anymore. It used to be the darkest substance made by man, absorbing most wavelengths. And why is that? Compare it to a tube. Do I have a tube here? Not really. Why don't I have a tube here? I have a roll of tape. Nanoparticles. And imagine this is a long tube. So every pigment particle is a long tube, a nanotube, and they are all positioned in a way that if light hits it, the light bounces and is absorbed by the nanotube particle. So just using the pigment and brushing it on wouldn't work with Fanta Black. So, it's weird that Anish Kapoor kind of bought the rights to be the only artist to be able to use it. But then again, he's one of the few artists who is actually able to use it. So is it has to be grown on the part that you want to paint? Also possible. This is all I know, that the arrangement of pigment particles needs to be applied in a certain way. There's no paint from a bottle that you can just brush on with a brush. It's not a paint like that. So there's nothing that needs to be liberated. But yeah. And then he went on making the pinkest pink, which was just a very fluorescent pigment. Very not light fast. No mention of that, by the way. And not a pure pigment, but a pigment mixed with a binder. So you needed to add water. And it had some kind of acrylic paint. But yeah, it's and Fanta Black isn't even the blackest black anymore. And Stuart Sample's Black 4.0 isn't either. So it's just weird how things are taken out of context used for selling his products, which is basically what happens. And the most frustrating thing, why everything like I'm sharing right now, sorry if it's boring for some people, everything comes up now because in that that's the one, Musu, is it Musu? Mushu, no, that's the little dragon from Mulan. Everything comes up right now because of that video, where it actually says he made a better version of International Klein Blue. And that was kind of a stab in the heart. Why would you add that? Why would you say something like that? And that is the thing that was kind of, it wasn't even the most bothering thing. I think the spectrometer were actually he just showed his phone with the NYX app on it and just showing a color reading, just like literally, it wasn't a spectral reading, it was just a solid color with digital numbers above it, digital values. And he called it a spectrometer. And then you have him, you see him making paint. Oh, this is weird. I've paused the ads like for two times now, and I have a counter which says ads will be shown to some people again in 5, 4, 3, 2. So some of you, see you soon. That's weird because my ad like pause button still counts down to 4 minutes right now. Gulchen, yeah, I've seen some of the black holes painted with like super black paint. I'm not calling them blackest anymore because I don't know which one is the blackest. I've seen some pictures and comparisons to like really dark objects, and they really amaze me. I haven't seen them in real life, but it's really interesting to see these kind of things, and that's why I think community is also very important, and competition, like having irregular commercial paint brands compete which one has the blackest paint is something I don't think a lot of artists are interested in, really. It's like nice to say that you have a bottle of the blackest paint available now, but I don't think a lot of artists will use it. Like not the majority of any art for any art material, I think, in any medium, will be interested in using it as it is. So it's a weird competition, but it is interesting. But we know that his one isn't the blackest anymore, and yet it is still marketed as such. So that is also something that feels off. If you kind of want to compete about such a very niche product, be transparent in what you're competing with, and not like it's like a super bad dishwasher or dishwash detergent commercial. I don't know what it's called, like the soap for a dishwasher. This is brand X and this is our brand, and he uses a very shiny cheap acrylic here and his like matte black here. That's the only comparison you have, and that's like, okay, yes, okay, now I'm gonna buy it because you've compared it to one shiny paint, so that must be better. Yeah. And that, like, what you're saying, Gulchen, they're like serious paint brands, and I'm so sorry for all the brands that are really working their very best on making a very dark black paint, but like the big paint brands, the major paint brands, I would never see them compete like, oh, now we have the blackest paint. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. So yeah, it's I actually have a from Kramer, 3 milliliters. It is a very tiny bottle in a liquid suspension. I don't know what it looks like. I've never dared to open it yet, but these are black nanotubes. So really, it's not focusing at all, is it? Why aren't you focusing? Focus. Okay, so really, if you're not working with me, then I'll just use the other camera. There you go. This one also not sponsored here in this video by Kramer, but the black nanotube. And why didn't I dare to open it? Because it is filled to the brim, and apparently it's liquid. And nanotubes. So yeah. This was one of the things that like, oh, that's nice. Let me add that to the collection. Yeah, that's the nano black. I'm putting this into a plastic container because that very small jar of liquid black nano black is made out of glass. And my floor is concrete. So some kind of security. Fanta Black. Yay, I have Fanta Black. And I can make watercolors out of that. Come on, why aren't you focusing now? Here I am. Here I am. Focus on me. It's also weird. I don't have auto exposure on, but when I'm here, he makes me lighter. And he makes the background lighter, and I'm here, it's kind of getting darker again, and this is kind of getting balanced and still not focusing or whatever. I'm a vague person anyway. Might as well the camera show me like that. So yeah, I don't know. I've just said too many things for the last 58 minutes. And it all comes down to the point that I really got aggravated because of that video. It's just, it wasn't okay for me. And it's not like I felt attacked that because like Klein is a very distant family of me. It is just because I feel quite connected to his work. I read a lot about it in my younger years. I did some projects like based on his work and trying to see where his kind of vision came from. And it's been a long time ago. I can't tell you, like at the top of my head right now, but hearing someone just putting everything out of context, and then the images that you see, like the B-roll of the video. It's so painful. And I think, Wall Street Journal, I don't know anything about the Wall Street. I don't know where they're at like how serious they need to be taken when it comes to these kind of videos. But it's like a big name. And it's basically just a 10-minute long commercial for his paint. And that's just, it's just very painful. Especially since he got so many things wrong in that video, and he just gets away with it, and it's like, why isn't like, why? I think they are Gulsian. I think every paint brand is looking for at least the lab people are looking for ways to, or new methods of trying to reflect and absorb the most wavelengths. Of course, having a a pure white, a very white. Sample has that as well. The whitest white, he calls it, obviously. Oh, that's painful, Mark. I thought as much. I know what the Wall Street Journal is here, so it is highly regarded there by many people. Yeah, but so is Trump. So that's kind of like, yeah, puts things in context for me, I think. Yeah, but. And as well as I heard how many people think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows in the US. That was painful. Almost as painful as seeing that video of Stuart Sample. Do I think Bob Ross paints are legit pigmented? I will never sport them, but I was just wondering. I have no idea. I didn't know he had paint. Makes sense. I don't know anything about it, so I can't tell you. I'm taking a piece of chocolate, guys. I'm so sorry. And that scotch was a good idea. Still need to get that. You have the white ink, Gulchan. I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to curse here. Now it's... Oh, that's interesting. That's bad, by the way, but also interesting. It's just his name that's used for paints that aren't connected to his family. Probably like the studio that recorded everything has the rights on his name or something like that. I don't know anything about it, but that's the first thing I think of when I read that. Oh, stroopwafels. Now I want stroopwafels. Oh, the shop is still open 25 minutes. But having, like, that screen on for 25 minutes is a bit rude, I think. Please join with that, have a drink you want, have a cup of tea, a glass of water, a cup of coffee, wherever you're located. Or a good drink. Now I am wondering where I left my glass last time. Did I wash it? Maybe I washed it. But it's not here. Everything I washed is over here. Oh, now my microphone is still on and you probably hear me like very hollow now. But I washed my glass and I don't know where I left it. Taking another glass. Where did I leave everything? That's a very sound choice, Gulchan, an off-brand Sprite. It sounds good to me. No, I won't. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. I will buy them to make you jealous on my next screen, Sebastian. If that's okay with you. Oh, that's a very good off-brand version, Guljan. I do like that stuff. They also sell very good whiskey, only not in this country. I will send you some stroopwafels. Cheers, everyone, for wherever you are, whatever you're drinking. On everyone having a great holiday or whatever you're celebrating, and if you're not celebrating anything, that is fine as well. On a good new year, I think. 2025. I will be live before that. Will I? I don't know if I will. Anyway, happy days. And on like a new good year for us pigment people and the pigment family. May we grow in numbers. The chocolate goes well with it. Okay, so I'm not even finished with my rant, but it's I'm not going to continue as well. I need to rewatch the entire video for it, and I think pause it like every 30 seconds to rant on it for like 4 minutes, and then 30 seconds again, and then 4 minutes. I think that will kind of happen if I put that on. So I won't do that, but there were loads more things that annoyed me that were fresh a few days ago, but then all my energy went into finding his awful paint. And I've used his paint. I've used his paint once, and I did find a swatch of it. So but it's kind of gruffy, scruffy. You can see it in this, literally. You can see it. This is his version, and this is like which brand is it? Lascaux acrylic gouache. Also, not sponsored here, just showing you what I've used in the past for my artwork. Well, you can see it color-wise. You can definitely see that this is deeper and more vibrant to the original thing. So this is what I've that I did find this. Funny enough, it is on one of my swatch papers that I still use. So I've done this less than a year ago, which is really frustrating because I know I had it. I don't know where. No, Mark, I actually haven't been making a lot of paint. My girls, my kids had a few days extra holiday because of their extra school days off. Let me put it like that. And so just busy with the kids. And for the next kind of 2 weeks will be as well, I think. So the looking for the paint was kind of like in the evenings, and yesterday as well. I watched the live of Eve Bold, and in the meantime, I was just unpacking all the cupboards I have over here, all the drawers, looking at every single spot I a Blue Monday rant. It's like the third Monday of the year, right? Where everyone is really depressed because they didn't lose any weight. What was, you know, they actually thought they would, because they set that the 1st of January. Ian makes his own whiskey and other drinks. Well, you know, I'm happy to send you some stroopwafels in return of that as well, Ian. How is your whiskey? Very curious if you make it yourself. I can. No, I'm not going to do that live. I need too much kind of protection, hand and gloves and everything. I think I thought I was thinking kind of out loud. I can also make, like, use the Yves Klein, the International Klein Blue binder here during the live. I've never used it, and it's quite, it can be quite irritating. So I don't wanna use that. Plus, you need to dilute it with alcohol. And apply it with the roller. That's not something I'm going to do now, unfortunately. I will make a tiny bit of paint with the original blue pigment. Yeah, I do need to set it up properly, and you need to measure it in volume. So you need, and that's okay. I always measure in volume with the measuring spoons, but the liquid is quite thick, the viscosity. It's like you need to do it one-on-one, like one part of the Adam 25 binder from Adam Montmartre, I think. Oh, that's nice, Ian. That's very nice. I would just make a tiny bit of watercolor paint with it. So for that, let me put you to this perspective. This is a clean one. It's like nothing magical here. This is ultramarine blue. Being ultramarine blue, probably made this paint, this color, the most of all colors are made. It looks very much like a, on my screen, I don't know how your screen is, I don't know if my, let's have a look, is my night kind of correction. Oh, are you there right now, Mark? I'm so sorry. I'm just quickly going to check out your video. I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were there. You're sitting there. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Computer asks for too many things. Oh, that's beautiful there, Mark. That is beautiful. Yeah, jealous. Again. Uh, um, well, and enjoy it. Enjoy it there. Enjoy everything there. It looks amazing. As I was saying, on the screen, it looks a little bit like more of a phthalo actually. Maybe a bit of PB60 in it. Mr. Pigment's welcome. Thank you for the tip, Mark. It's in the. Oh, actually. Did you share it in the Dirty Blue group as well? Oh, that's the Pigment Family version. You shared it here as well. So in the group chat, Sylvie, you shared it. For me, this is very much like every ultramarine blue I've ever used. Smells like it as well. For this, I'm going to use a tiny muller. How are you going to tell your family that, Sylvie? I'm so sorry, but someone I met online from Hawaii just adopted me for the environment. It was nice being here in Germany, but see you guys. I think that's going to be a weird Christmas conversation. You played too much of Sonic Adventure today. Well, this is kind of his blue, right? Looking at here. So, and making like this movement with that blue. I think I know why you can't unthink. I'm from Africa, or South Africa, right? I don't know. You need to add him, okay. You know what I think about the invitation, Mark. You know how I think about that, and I wish I could. That was almost a waste of whiskey. So yeah, this being a beautiful ultramarine, yeah, but Gulshan, cobalt is very often mistaken or used for this color. I don't know why. I have tubes of very cheap paint that say cobalt blue, and PB29 is used for it. I don't know why they get. I don't know. You had an earthquake this morning. That sounds. Well, having you here, I think that says enough of how it's going. But everything okay? Sebastian, is everything okay? Glad that everything is good. I once was at a location with a very heavy earthquake. It was in Indonesia, and I was there. I was very young. We went there on a holiday, visiting family-ish, and I slept through it. We stayed at a hotel, and the entire hotel woke up. Most of the people were outside already, and my bed was across the room, and I've slept through it. It's like I can't imagine that happening now. Like right now, if someone just shuts the door too loud, or I don't know, just walks on the stairs while I'm asleep, I'll wake up. Oh, you slept through it as well. Good. So this is the pigment that Yves Klein used, the version of ultramarine that he used. Like, not the original pigment that he used. No, from the same jar. I'm using the baby muller, yeah. It's like, this is the baby muller, I think. Not a toddler, baby still. I do have a pretty mature baby muller as well, which is in my traveling bag, and it's just way too small actually, but it's... Swatching. Sounds you get a good night rest anyway. That's a good thing, I think, right? Isn't it? Right? I have to be honest, it is a very good looking ultramarine blue. But it's not like I'm falling off my chair because I'm shocked that I'm just painting with the color I've seen in museums. I'm kind of spoiled in that way, I think, when it comes down to pigments. This is Bleu Outre-mer number 1311. PV21, number 1311. I think I'm just going to be lazy and take one of my swatches from my... Let's have a look if it's kind of comparable with the coverage of it. Should be. Should be near the blues, right? Don't you think? No, you don't see it. Good. Making a mess again. There you go. Oh, this is painful. This looks bluer. It's because it's dry, probably, but you can see it on the camera. There's not much of a difference there already. I would say it's just ultramarine. I'm just going to make a little bit more of an opaque edge on this one. Well, still wet. can play with it a bit. Very focused here. Goldilocks and the 3 Mullers. Well, I'm definitely not Goldilocks. I mean, I've lost my locks 10 years ago, so. Maybe sooner. It needs to dry. Right, so this is, I'm not judging anything yet. I did buy another pigment, by the way. Geranium red, which I think isn't light fast. No, it's not light fast at all. It has 1 star. Yes, I bought a red that is not light fast just because I didn't have it. PR 53 1. I was just shaking the bottle. I shouldn't have done that. I wanted to open it, but I'm not going to do that after I shook it. Dot pen. Thank you you are my dot pen savior, Gulchan. Thank you very much. I don't know if that's an official title I can give you. Oh, that is just, isn't it? Really? Seriously? Okay, so I don't know what's going on here. You can still see me, right? Because I'm moving my hand underneath the camera. Here I am, and it's not showing on the screen, which is super weird. So this is not working. This is working. That is working. This isn't working. Okay, let me restart the software from the camera here. It's not working still. I don't know what is. Initializing video engine. I don't want you to initialize the video engine. I just want you to work. It's not too much to ask, is it? There we go. Hello, hand. And now we only need to up the brightness. Up, there we go. And we're back again. So, initializing video engine. As if there is an engine in this camera. We are here, everything is working, yes. In that case, let's turn them off. So no, that's not right. Let's appreciate the what's going on here. I'm putting it on the dot. What's going on? Did I think I bumped into the camera there. Is there any way to, can we zoom in? We can zoom in, yay. So that's a perfect dot with the reflection that looks just like white specks on it, but that's just a reflection of a perfect dot that I just ruined. Shouldn't be bragging. Okay, so these Sylvie, have I answered your question? Meanwhile, just asking because of the ads. If I know what your question was, I am so sorry. I might have missed it. What's the difference? Oh, there you go. What's the difference to the different Kremer ultramarine blues? What the difference is, I haven't. To be honest, I've only, like, the swatches I have here are only swatches from the paints that I sell. All my experiments and all my things I put in a booklet, and my chocolate's gone. That's because I ate it. I don't have that ready, and to be honest, at the beginning I wasn't very organized. Wait, scratch that. I'm not very organized, so I don't have them at the ready or complete. But luckily there is artistpigments.org who does that for us. Ryder, Merry Christmas, have a great holiday. I'm going to have a look if I'm going to do a live between Christmas and New Year's Eve. Well, we can have a look, right? Let's have a look. Spectral curves, watercolors. Let's do the pigments. Right, we can do pigments. Dry pigments. Going to make a little bit of noise and bring my microphone up. There you go. Dry pigments, and then we have Kremer pigments. There we go. And let's have a look how many ultramarines he has. Okay, so he has loads of ultramarines, and I'm going to share them with you. Now the pigment I'm using for my line of paint isn't from Kremer, that is right. So I'm just going to kind of restart with everything. Here is ultramarine blue reddish, Marienberg. Then we have ultramarine blue dark, which is, looking at those two, this ends at a little over 0.5, whereas this is over 0.6, 0.6. So this reflects more of the blue, the ultramarine dark. Then we have, let's have a look, ultramarine blue reddish, which is a little bit under the 0.6 here, in how much of the wavelength it reflects. 0 is black. If there's a fully horizontal line 0, it is fully absorbed. If it's a fully horizontal line at 1.0, it is completely reflected, which gives us white. So that is how these can be read, these little graphs. Then we have the very dark, which is, I'm going to close the reddish, very similar to this one, to the dark, the ultramarine blue dark 3 Marienberg, which doesn't have a spectral curve. Ultramarine blue greenish, I'm going to take this away, which has a higher reflectance point here, but a little bit more to the left. So the highest point here is at 450, whereas here, let's have a look, it is more around, now it's also 450, isn't it? I should have this, if I can see these in my app, I can actually read where every point is. It reflects a little bit more of the red and near infrared wavelengths here. And I think this one is a little bit fuller. I think this curve, this is a little bit pointier. and that was the greenish extra, right? Yeah. Then we have the greenish lights, which is kind of the same. You can see a difference in the top here, whereas here it has 1 point at the top, here it has 2 points. So it reflects more of the cyan wavelengths as well here. Ultramarine violets, PB29, interesting. Way more of the other wavelengths here. This peak is the same, but otherwise it reflects way more of the other wavelengths. Prussian, Marienberg, greenish 1, which is interesting. I'm going to compare that with the Marienberg. Let's have a look. Let's compare that with the Marienberg 3. Oh, that one didn't have anything. Let's just do the regular one. Very dark. Let's just do this one. Right, so what you can see here, barely any red. The ultramarine blue, dark greenish 1 Marienberg. It almost absorbs everything after the green wavelengths, which is really interesting if you compare it to all the other wavelengths of ultramarine. And then we have the Marienberg 1, the dark one, which is quite similar, although let's put the greenish next to it. This has a bit more of a higher peak here. Dark 2 Marienberg, which again looks like a regular ultramarine, if I can say it like that. Han blue, cobalt dark, Maya colored, ultramarine blue greenish 1. Doesn't have anything. A pure lapis, we can do that. Right, so sorry about that. So pure lapis, very similar, although a little bit of flattened curve since it's less of a pure pigment. Ultramarine, synthetic ultramarine is just very, very pure as a pigment. Doesn't have any other lapises, right? No. But to compare it with, for instance, a cobalt blue, which can be very similar to, for instance, this ultramarine here, PB29 and PB74, you see there's a big difference between the two. So that is wow, what a poetic addition to it, a Thunderbolt Fantasy line incoming. Thank you for the addition from Thunderbolt Fantasy. I'm going to add this to this. The land is cloaked in deepest blue, the shadow of eagles across the moon. Very, very poetic, very beautiful. But to be a very big pigment nerd about it, deeper blues, or deepest blues in this case, do look very different when we look at it with a spectrometer, not a colorimeter, a spectrometer, Mr. Sample. So a colorimeter would give us something like this. No, I'm sorry, not this. Was it this? Yes, this. So a solid color space with no depth or texture in it. So no, this is a picture. This is a solid picture, solid color space picture of a color. These are spectral curves. This shows us how much of the visible wavelengths between 400 and 700 nanometers, wavelengths, visible by us human beings, are reflected back to us. So what is not absorbed but reflected, this or this. That's what a spectrometer does. Not just shows you a color and the digits that belong to that color. But you, wise people, know that. I want to know. Oh my goodness! I want to know the context of that Gulchen. I don't know if it is for this jet, but I'm very curious about the context. Which of the ultramarines do you like best? Of the Kramer ultramarines do you like best? Do you have a favorite? Just since they're all in front of me right now, I'm just going to quickly scan through them. Well, I think I've had a few, and not all of these. These are most of them. I don't know if these are all of them. These are most of them. Oh, yeah, I know it's from a show. I don't know the show. I haven't seen the show, but I know it's from a show. Gulchen. The Ultramarine Dark, the 45010 is I like very much. I do have that one, but the Ultramarine Blue Greenish Extra, I think it is. I do like that one as well. It is a it has that brightness to it, which I think this is actually more of a green ultramarine, and this is more of a red ultramarine. So this is more like a dark ultramarine from Kramer that I have my swatch, and the bleu Outremer numero, I don't know what 1311 is in French, but I think that this is a greener version of it. So looking at it, right, this is not like the white balance is very off in this case, but you can see, even though the white balance isn't right, you can see what I mean with it. This is just a tad, not paler, although it looks more pale on my screen. This has that deepness to it, whereas this doesn't. And I think mine also shows a bit more texture, whereas the Klein one is a bit more even, a bit more equal on paper. Oh, I didn't expect it to be a puppet show, actually. Ian, maybe it's, I don't know, winter is coming? I don't know. Maybe Alexa wants to warn you. Finest, yeah. I know what you. This is half German, half English. But the finest, yes. Now, and there's a distinction between French ultramarine and ultramarine blue. Also, you know, one granulates more than the other. One is a little bit more green leaning than the other. It really differs from brand to brand, also. But probably this is a French ultramarine, which is weird because the ultramarine pigment was kind of discovered in France. In France. So to call something French ultramarine also feels a bit off, but I'm not mad about it. It's just, you know, there's no need for a rant there. I'm just waiting for this to dry. I can measure the lighter part already. And this is the most minimal comparison ever for it to be professional, I need to sit in an empty space with at least 30 pages of swatches in front of me to, you know, to be taken seriously by everyone. Also, a colorimeter doesn't need to be calibrated, whereas this thing does. Okay, bzip bzip means it is calibrated. Okay, they changed the software, so I really need to have a look how I can compare two colors again. I'm going to show you anyway. A screen share. And they moved, they the measurement button is here now. This is what a colorimeter gives you. This is what a spectrometer gives you. This is the Yves Klein blue. And this, I just wanted to, everyone to just to focus on this little thing over here, and this is my ultramarine. The difference, guys. Did you see that difference? Going back to the Yves Klein and back to mine. Look here, I can just see here are the numbers. I can, big mouse, yeah, here's the big mouse, yeah, there we go. There are the numbers, and I can just look at the curve and see how much, like 1 is 100% reflectance, how much it reflects. It's 63% of the wavelength, at 450 nanometers. That's the highest point in blue, 450 at 63.4%, and that is mine. 450, 63. This is Yves Klein's, and this is 450. Is this the same? 450 at 6. Okay, so this is the same, right? Or did I just measure that one twice? This is mine. Okay, so this is mine. 450 at 61.9%. So this has a spike in the red. Let's have a look what the Klein does. Has a little bit of spike. It does show me a higher reflectance point here, so it reflects more of this, but overall it reflects a little bit less of all the pigments. So the weird thing that could be said, this is more blue, this is more vibrant because it just reflects more of a little bit more of everything. But I do get, looking at this, I do see a difference. Like I do see you can definitely see a difference there. I don't know if you can see a difference. Probably you can, but this is definitely greener. This is definitely more red. If you would give me this and ask me which kind of version of ultramarine this is, maybe if I looked at this just for a very long time, but if this came out of the blue, someone just walks to me at the street and think, is this a red or a green ultramarine blue? I think in the wash, in the more like the lighter part, I try to make the upper part a little bit darker, but it evens out more, I think. even it also evens out. Yeah, it's weird. I would say I could say, just out of the blue, I could say this is a slighter greener version of ultramarine. But if someone asks me if this is a lot more green, as I would see it like here compared to my version, this one, I don't think I could say that without any reference. If I look at them from a difference though, if I just throw them on my desk, I do see a very clear difference. I do see that difference. A lot, actually. Let's have a look if I can. Can you? Yeah, you see that difference, right? I'm shaky. Tomorrow, about this subject, and I really want to find that bottle of his paint. Tomorrow I'm contacting both museums that have an original Yves Klein hanging here in the Netherlands. I'm going to ask him if I can make a spectral reflectance curve of the original thing, which is maybe just, far-fetched, but you never know. I'm going to give him a call anyway, and maybe they have them for me. I mean, if they have one ready for me, measured from the actual artwork itself, that would work. If I can drop by with my spectrometer, that would be a nice experience. Not necessary, but I can brag about it. So that would, yeah. The thing is, it's two completely different versions as well. Eindhoven has a smaller one. It's behind acrylic glass. Stedelijk in Amsterdam has a big one with the sponges, a very big one. It's not behind glass, but it's a very, very well kind of protected, looked after museum. So it's not like I can walk to it with my spectrometer and just push it on there. And I think the paint will be quite brittle, or it's not like acrylic. It's not like a layer of plastic. Thank you, Sylvie. Thank you very much for joining. Have great holidays and a very good year, a new year. Maybe I'll be online again somewhere. I don't know. But I hope you have great holidays, and be careful with everything, fireworks and drinks and everything, and whatnot. Hope to see you soon again. Thank you, Sylvie. So it would be kind of a I would have the bragging rights to say I made a spectral reflectance curve measurement of an original Yves Klein painting. That's the only addition that it would be, and the experience, obviously. But if they have spectral reflectance curves of it, that would be fine. Why do I need it? since I have the binder and the pigment here in my studio, it's nice to always have a reference from the real thing, because we are constantly referencing the actual, you know, the artworks of Klein. So it would make complete sense to actually. Oh, that's nice of you to think about. Yeah, I hope it does, Sylvie, and I hope you do enjoy playing with it. If there's anything you would like to ask about it, if you have it already, feel free to send me a DM. I have the kind of same thing, and I've used a lot of filaments on it. But I think there are more people experienced with that here. But feel free to ask anything. So there's that. Looking at it. So you have watercolor here, and this is gouache, acrylic gouache, permanent. Let's measure those. So this is the master tone of my, let's share it with you, the master tone of my ultramarine blue here. There you go, master tone. It's a little bit lower, it's darker, there you go. This is what a colorimeter would show you. And this is going to be the gouache, which is darker. It is, yeah, it's obviously there's like no transparency whatsoever in the gouache, so that does make sense. So look, if I can have another measurement, maybe there's a little bit more transparency here, just a little bit. Okay, so now let's have a look at the master tone of my swatch. So highest point at 450 dot 411. And here the highest point is dot 57. Sorry, 507. So my watercolor does reflect a little bit more light back, but that might be the transparency of the medium compared to gouache. Looking at them both like here. This is the gouache, this is the watercolor. They're both very ultramarine-ish. So yeah. So there is that. Let me write with it. It's Lascaux. And Sculpture Hustle. And I don't like the swatch. I don't like the quickly done thing I did with that. So that's why I want the Sculpture Hustle paint. I want to find it so I can just compare it and get rid of that statement that it is a bluer version. I hate that. I think it is the right word, and I think it is the appropriate time to use the word hate. I don't like the word. I barely use it, but I hate that they said it's a better version or a bluer version. That's just not right. It's not right at all. It's just unfair, guys. I shouldn't be too busy with this. I shouldn't be busy with it at all, actually. It is a very, very heavy pigment, by the way, that geranium red. Rouge geranium, I think. Composition. Monoazoic pigment. PR53. Produit de haute qualité. Oh, that's good to know. A high quality product. A test of the geranium red pigment. First I need to clean. Yeah, let's do that. It's not like I've been online for 2 hours already. Jeez, time is flying. No, it's I'm not complaining here. I've been I went online a little bit earlier than I wanted to, and I don't want to, like, I need to knock on something, but there hasn't been any issue. Apart from YouTube complaining that there's an issue. They suggest a low bit rate, whereas my internet can just handle a very high bit rate. I'm just feeding YouTube more video than you know, than it wants, but that's... Over the last weeks, they complained that they weren't getting enough video feed to have a stable connection. And I also got this notification that I'm not using their suggested numbers. And I do feel like it. Yeah, it's a good idea. Never worked with it before. It's a pigment I just added to my collection from this. I still don't have a reply from Kramer though. I asked for an offer for the, oh, sorry for the noise, for the powdered gum arabic and two pigments, two small pigments. And it's, why is it doing this again? Really? Are we seriously? My camera is just, I've cleaned everything, by the way, guys. It's not, there you go. Magic. Why is this camera just not working? I'm sorry, I'm just going to disconnect it here. And go to connect it again. Yeah, I don't, you know you don't like that, but I don't care. There we go. It was complaining to me, by the way. If you think, who is he talking to? Notification banners on my screen from the software. Yeah, that will be awesome. I don't know. Can I even pause the screen? I don't think I can pause it. It's probably I can pause the screen. It would be ridiculous if I couldn't pause the screen. But I wouldn't know how. I need to wash my stuff because usually I have a little metal bucket over there. I put all my dirty things in and I wash it after, and that metal bucket is at my sink ready to be washed, but I haven't. I love the, like, this is such a light yet balanced, I'm sorry. Should only be doing this when it's not moving anymore. There we go, a balanced palette knife. So seeing the change of color here, and I see it way more than you see it on the screen here. Yeah, that's not my screen here. That is really, it is way more vibrant than, and pinkish leaning. This is too much scarlet here. Let's have a look. Where's my phone? There it is. I think this is closer. Yeah, it's not cool enough. Also too scarlet because there is a nice pink like undertone here. And you don't see it. It is kind of it misses like the depth of it, but fleshy. I think it comes close, but it looks like a muted version from what I see here. It is way more gritty than I thought, and looking at the change of color with the pigment from the binder, I would say there's filler in it. Not quite sure though. Could be the pigment. I don't know what. Let's have a look what it is. What is PR53 pigment geranium lake? Oh, that's explains it. This is not found in any artist material in our database. The PR53.3. The #1 version is, though, and is more red. Kusakabe sells it as cherry red, the PR53.1. There you go. And I think this is the pinkish I was talking about. So I actually have this version, which isn't sold by anyone, also the dry pigment, which is weird because I have a jar full of it here in front of me. But I don't think there's filler in it. Looking at this version, it is very similar. This is a dry pigment. It is not as red as this is, but it's also not the same pigment. So it's really hard to say. I don't know. Feels a little bit as if there is filler in it. Also, it sounds quite chalky. There, I've said it. It is a very vibrant red, by the way. It is like all the colors fall away. I'm just quickly going to see if something can be changed here. If I just put this on, sorry for the colors, by the way, guys. If this can change to, no, this is not going to help at all. So I'm going to put this on high, and then I'm going to put this higher, measuring center weighted, no, average. Should I do it? Average, yes. White balance, automatic, no, this is way too blue for everything else. Let's have a look if I can just find the red. I think this is actually closer to what I'm seeing now. This just looks too washed out, but I think this is closer. A little bit. I don't know, let's save these settings and see if that works for other pigments as well. Blue. Looks still blue. Okay, good. Yellow. Does it look yellow? Does look like a yellow. This looks like a weird color. That is a weird color. Pigment looks, this kind of looks correct actually. Okay. I will send Thomas a message, yes. You know what? I'm going to make a dot. I will send him the dot. I will add it to the other dots. It's not as bad as ASMR as some things are, Gulchen. This is not the worst part of this ASMR is probably them constantly talking through it. It's on my touchpad. I literally felt paint flying through the air, but it all went that way. Makes for a nice red. I wouldn't say, you know, looking at the YouTube logo, this is actually just the exact same color as the YouTube logo on my screen. So another trick, I've just, you know, whenever I think about it, for those of you making paint, if you've scraped all the paint together here, before you want to put it in your pen, in this case I'm using a dot pen, what I do, especially when I see a little one air bubble, that's enough. I always do it, I just smear it out like this to get rid of all the larger air bubbles that get trapped in the entire length of your slab. So by doing that, you eliminate as much air as possible out of your dots or small paint layers you have poured into your pan. There you go. And Gulchen, I thought about the dot pen myself this time. Can probably make two. Not as clean as the first one, but I think it is acceptable. Let's get to the swatching. Let's swatch that next to ultramarine blue. I know they're not complementary, but should give a nice contrast anyway. That is way too orange on my screen, by the way. It's way too flat and orange, and I think that's the high definition in the camera trying to compensate the red. I don't know what's going on. There you go. That is a little bit more realistic too. What is my camera? Why is it? Wow. Oh, it's always horizontal. Seriously? That is weird. I'm holding my camera now in a vertical position. Look, it's like I'm switching now. I'm holding it like this, and it still gives us this screen when I switch to it. And now I'm turning my camera sideways. Oh, you don't notice it. That is weird. Sorry about that. So that's the actual color. There is a lot of drying shift happening, I think, though. Also looking at my slab, seeing that where this is all already dry here, it's losing a lot of its chroma, which you can probably see in the small miniature over there. Let's get to some cleaning in the meantime. Almost always doing kind of, at least, you know, especially with the cleaning part, my hand in front of it. And there's a reason why I haven't touched my slab, but you can, a lot of phone usage today. You can actually see how much paint there is on my hand, how much like water and kind of red dots there are on my hand. That is just water splashing up while spraying it. So I'm always keeping my hand in front of it. Ever since I found out that there was loads of Pyrrol Orange PO73 on my iPad screen. I was cleaning that, and I was watching, I don't know, a series on my screen there while I was making paint. And then I used my iPad for something else, and my fingers were orange, and I thought, oh yeah, what's going on? And I went over it with a cloth, and that entire thing was orange. And then I noticed all little tiny specks still on there, so yeah. Since then, I'm always putting my hand in front of it, also to protect the swatch, laying next to it. And it saves a lot of cleaning the surrounding area as well. If you are using a spray bottle, that is. If you're not using that, ignore the last 3 minutes. This is way too scarlet. And on my other screen, it is way too blue. Wow, what is going on? Okay, let me have a... I'm going to have a quick look. Let me have a look. Where is this? This is there. These are the filters, color correction. If I turn that off, what happens? If I turn this off, almost nothing happens here on my screen. It gets even more pale. Whereas on my other screen, it's like the deepest red and almost manganese blue next to it, which is also not right. I think this is better. This is actually quite close. Yay! This is a typical red pigment, and what I mean with that is the cleaning part. For a reason, reds always stick a little bit longer. They stay around a little bit longer. Not all of them, but more than other pigments, or more than other colors usually do. Don't need to say pigments. Sorry, I was just looking at the YouTube settings. Everything seems to be going kind of smooth today, so that is positive, I think. That is better. It's still not all there, but better than it was. Let me get a new cloth. No, that was actually just me completely still, and you know, one hand on my here, and I was looking at my screen, my laptop. Focused there, fully focused. But I didn't need that arm, so I didn't move. I looked up. I have two screens there, and I looked up at my other screen, and I just saw my hand there, so I noticed. Yeah, it's weird. Okay, this is clean again, ish. Yes, it is. I'm not going to do a lot more next. For anyone who is still sticking around here, does anyone have any plans for the next, I don't know, period, the holidays or the period after? Any New Year's resolutions that are worth mentioning? You're painting a bunch of 3D prints. Well, that sounds like something you're already doing. But it is good to continue with anyway, or you're going to do. But you haven't watched the second one yet, or did you? Or already in the meantime? Watching YouTube, not being disturbed by anyone. Going to the movies sounds all like solid things to do. Ah, you watched the second one a few days ago. You airbrushing 3D prints. Well, have fun or good luck, but have fun. That is all paper. I think I might even do it tomorrow. I don't know if I might need to do a little bit shopping tomorrow still. If I have some time, I might try to use the Eve Klein binder tomorrow evening. But I'm just going to do it off camera, by the way, so I'm not going to do that on YouTube. Looks like a solid red. It's kind of a mix between PV19 and Pyrrole red, to be honest. In its transparency, it has like a pinkish, fleshy pink to it. Well, in its mass tone, it's more like a scarlet. So properties that like Pyrrole orange have as well. Pyrrole orange is more like a red orange instead of a orange red, but also with that fleshy undertone. But that is a stable pigment, and this isn't. So that's I need to write PR 53. There we go. I'm going to go. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for the super chats. Toast and Sebastian, if you're still there or anywhere around, thank you so much again. I hope everyone has a great holiday or holidays, great days, wherever you are, however you, whatever you're going to do. Everyone just have, you know, a good time, I think. Until next chat, until next live stream, or just have the same time between any live stream, whatever you're up to. Thank you so much for everything, for being here in the chat and your company. It's not 11 yet. I might have one other go at looking for that paint. Oh, it's so frustrating. In my old studio, it stood at the same spot for 3 years. It has been standing like on the floor in a corner for 3 years. And then I packed everything, and I think I threw it out, or I put it in a box, but it is not in that box, which is in the attic, with a lot of, you know, old acrylic paints that I don't use. I was so ready for this because, like, I have the glossometer. I don't know what's this called. The gloss meter, the spectrometer, everything ready to compare it to the gouache, to watercolor paint, to the real thing. You know, because I have the binder right now. I don't have the thing I wanna prove wrong. But yeah, everyone have a great holiday, great days, great Christmas. If you're celebrating Christmas, if you're not, and if you're just, you know, eating and avoiding the masses, have a great time as well. I'm going to let you know when I'm going to be live streaming again, and I'll probably do that via Instagram and the YouTube posts, I think, and just check my channel if you want to know if I've planned anything. Check my channel for in the live section. It should be there if I've planned anything. So as soon as I know if I can go online, and when I can go online, I will plan one in, and you'll find it, and can turn on notifications there. Thank you so much, everyone, and I hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.